Mohandas Karam Chan Gandhi, often referred to as Mahatma Gandhi, was a Hindu, Brahmin, Hindu leader and politician. Mahatma Gandhi, full name Mohantas Karam Chan Gunthy, popularly known as Mahatma Gandhi, was born on October 2, 1869 in the western Indian state of Gujarat. His father had several wives and he was fourth wife. In May 1883, 13-year-old Gandhi married a girl named Stroba, who was only 6 months older than him. According to his local tradition, he likes children to get married soon. Gandhi was very happy and married until he had 5 children, but one of them lost his life when he was a baby, so he has only 4 children left. In 1888, the year his first child, excluding infants, died, was born and his family sent him to study law in England before doing so. On the way, he promised his mother that he would not eat meat, drink alcohol, or have sex with women, so that she would be warm in his heart, and traveled to England. In life there's culture, manners and construction, because there, unlike in India, Gandhi has to be careful about the manners he used to do in India. He has to adapt in personality to suit British. In addition, the vegetarian food in England at that time tasted a lot, but the savage would not eat meat because he had already promised his mother. A book to explain to those who do not eat meat in the UK happily, while the customs and culture gradually changed and eventually graduated and passed the examination for a law degree, Doctor of Laws. He returned to India in 1892 to pursue a career. In the year that Gandhi returned, his wife gave birth to their second child, although Gandhi graduated from high school. His first career was full of hardships, but soon after, Gandhi got a job, which made him a famous politician. His job was as a lawyer in South Africa, so in 1893 he traveled to South Africa, where he bought a first-class train ticket. The most comfortable and also the most expensive floor, to the city where the client only needs a passenger on the first floor with a white, dissatisfied black person like him who came to ride with them. The white people went to protest and told the security guards to chase Gandhi away from the first floor. For the first time, Gandhi denied this, aggravated the dispute on the first floor train, eventually being abused by the security guards and being chased off the train by passengers. White, which train security claims is a first-class carriage made for white passengers only. It is the non-cooperation and the unjust law without the use of force. This strategy has been very fruitful. Let Gandhi realize that the struggle for non-violence is more effective than he intended this specific strategy. To make his demand for justice work, he stayed in South Africa to continue his demand for justice until 1914, when he left South Africa. Returning to India and Mumbai in 1915, he decided to give up his Western-style attire and return to his traditional way of life and return. Thousands of Indians came out to greet him with a landslide. A few days later, he went to Finnath, the national poet of India, Finnath, who named Gandhi Mahatma. This man tried to uplift the lower classes called the untouchable, but also tried to rid them of Hinduism. Mahatma Gandhi acted as an opponent of modern science, but agreed to be operated on by doctors, agreed to use a thermos, and agreed to wear glasses. The man tried to link Hinduism to Islam as a whole, but refused to allow anyone in his family to convert to Islam. However, it is a fact that Mahatma Gandhi is India's most important statesman. The word statesman may not be enough or incorrect to use with this man. Sometimes we may have to use the word God. In the history of India, with the exception of the Buddha, and no one is as important as Mahatma Gandhi, Ashoka, Maharaja, Akbar, Mahamurkul. Compared to Mahatma Gandhi, the influence of this man is so far apart. India respects love beyond description. Tens of thousands of people could kneel down and kiss the ground with the footprints of Mahatma Gandhi passing by. Thousands of people can walk 20 miles to see the train that Mahatma Gandhi travels without seeing Mahatma Gandhi, and not because they want to see the beauty of the train, because Mahatma Gandhi never saw it. Mahatma Gandhi had his own special car, usually traveling by third-class train mixed with the poor. Photographs and prints of Mahatma Gandhi are displayed in homes, in millions of huts. People suffering from the cold try to touch Mahatma Gandhi to seek healing. Millions of people look up at the sky when they say or hear someone say the name Mahatma Gandhi. To find someone in the modern age who can touch the heart of a man equal to this man cannot be found by a single word or by just raising the finger. Mahatma Gandhi can cause millions of Indians to stir up the whole country. India has. The original name of this man was Mohandas Karam Chan Gunthy, born in Papandur, Katyavak on October 2, 1869. Both grandfather and father used to be the general of the said state, who played. It should be noted that Mahatma Gandhi's status was not poor. It should be noted that Mahatma Gandhi had the opposite event from the other important persons mentioned earlier, that is, every statesman mentioned earlier began life. Due to the abject poverty, he has a glorious status in the present, but Mahatma Gandhi started his life with wealth and gave up all his wealth to the point of spinning cotton, weaving skirts, and covering himself. The story of this man we can find with the history that he wrote himself, and for a moral person like Mahatma Gandhi, the history he wrote himself is always believable. He wrote that as a child, a friend suggested that the Indians were weak because they did not eat meat, while the British were strong enough to rule India because the British ate meat. When he heard this, Gandhi tried to eat a little goat meat because he had never eaten any meat, so he had diarrhea. Another animal forever. At the age of 13, Gandhi got married. Before the marriage, Gandhi had already had 3 fiancées, but all of them died and married a 4th fiancée. At the time of the wedding, the 10-year-old bride was still illiterate. Gandhi wrote that he was determined to teach his wife how to read and write, but he did not have time for more than 50 years, and he still did not have time to teach his wife how to read and write. The wife tries to read and write a little, but still cannot say that she can read and write. At the age of 15, she had a son, who died shortly afterward. Gandhi's father died shortly afterwards. Gandhi continued his education until graduating from Ahmedabad University and decided to pursue a law degree in London. Gandhi had to travel in a cart for 5 days to get permission from the head of the family at that time. After receiving permission from to study in London, and his mother forced him to decide not to eat meat, will not drink alcohol, and will not have sex with any woman during leaving India. Gandhi arrived in London on September 4, 1888, when he was 19 years old. Gandhi studied in London for 3 years, and then returned to India to set up a law firm in Mumbai for 2 years. S2436. This is because there are a lot of Indians living in South Africa, and there is hope for a better career as a lawyer in India. The story of Mahatma Gandhi in South Africa is the most bitter story in life. Being kicked, beaten, insulted, despised in every way, but still able to build himself up and become a famous lawyer. He enjoys earning about 5 million real a year as a lawyer, which is considered a lot of money. But at that time, the insulting event made Gandhi start a new idea. Life in South Africa marked the beginning of a new life for Mahatma Gandhi, which made him an Indian deity and the reason for his nickname Mahatma Gandhi. Since then, Gandhi stopped working as a lawyer, used all the money he earned to set up a peasant settlement for poor Indians, built a newspaper called Indian Opinion, and wrote a book entitled Indian Freedom, promoting nationalism and start using the non-violence method since then. In the meantime, Gandhi has been arrested 3 times. Gandhi lived in South Africa for 21 years and returned to India in 2457, the first year of the First World War. Gandhi was 45 years old. 30 minutes after praying, then go out. Mahatma Gandhi's journey was so fast that those who went with him had to run after him. Walking fast in the early morning is a must visit, no matter how heavy the rain. When Mahatma Gandhi went to London at a time of great influence, he also marched in the early hours of the morning until the British side had 2 investigators run to defend him. Blessing is also an important pagoda that must be recited twice, at sunrise and sunset. While on his way to London, he was sitting with British dignitaries in the House of Commons meeting room. Sit quietly while Mahatma Gandhi prays and then return to sit on the chair again to proceed with the meeting. Evening prayers while Mahatma Gandhi in India is a big ceremony, because everyone who is with Mahatma Gandhi also participates in the prayers. The locals, even from far away, come to pray with Gandhi. Blessings at such events are so powerful that foreigners, people of other races and religions are also present to pay their respects. The Japanese and even the British used to attend the blessing ceremony together with Mahatma Gandhi. Monday is a day of silence, not saying a word that day, no matter how hot the important events. No one can make Mahatma Gandhi speak on Monday. While attending a meeting in London, Mahatma Gandhi accidentally went to a meeting on Monday, but did not say anything, and when it was absolutely necessary, he wrote a letter to the secretary to read to the meeting instead of speaking. Gandhi works as much as the important people, receives students and visitors, does not stop, the words and important stories in every mouth. There are people who remember to write down in the newspaper until it can be said that not a single word of Mahatma Gandhi that fell empty. He frequently writes letters to this person all over the world. Mahatma Gandhi's way of relaxing is to soak in hot water for about 40 minutes, and that water is very hot. While soaking in hot water, also read the book gradually. Mahatma Gandhi's favorite job is to take care of the village, which is far from progressive, by supporting the weaving of cotton skirts, which even Mahatma Gandhi made himself so that the villagers could receive free education and health care, as well as to engage in family industry. Napoleon, who was capable of falling asleep, was able to sleep when he needed to sleep and wake up when he needed to. Mahatma Gandhi was sometimes more capable than Napoleon. Mahatma Gandhi could say that I needed to sleep for 20 minutes, and then Mahatma Gandhi immediately sold out, no matter where or how loud the sound was, and after 20 minutes he woke up and his attendants knew for sure that on the train. Mahatma Gandhi can be sold in less than a minute after boarding the train. When Nero's father passed away, Gandhi went to attend the funeral. On the way back, he fell asleep in the car. His car overturned. Mahatma Gandhi jumped out of the car. This is not uncommon for psychologists. Psychologists know that the sleep of those who are trained in psychology is not the same as the sleep of normal people. However, the ability to fall asleep at any time, being able to wake up at any time is a characteristic of a strong meditator and a characteristic of strength of mind. Mahatma Gandhi has 4 sons, and since Mahatma Gandhi was 31 years old, he did not commit sexual immorality, but he was a lover, because no matter the man or woman, he did not see her. Cannot resist loving him, even though the face of Mahatma Gandhi is not beautiful, handsome. Love in this man makes men and women always fall in love. As Sir Samuel Ehud Olmert, one of India's ministers, told Lord Wiltington, India's new viceroy, to try not to negotiate with Mahatma Gandhi, because if he saw it, he would not be able to stop falling in love. Another trait, which in English is called simplicity, which is synonymous with being easy to adopt, is so inherent in Mahatma Gandhi that it is incomparable, and this trait does not come later. He has become a Mahatma, in fact, a trait that has existed since he was a young man. Once, he traveled by train with his wife and rode the third floor as his wife used to use the second-class bathroom because the third-class room was not available. The train agent allowed it, but Gandhi refused to wait for the third-class room for a long time until you see that it is really necessary to agree to use. Once on a cruise ship, he saw a friend with high-end binoculars into the sea. While imprisoned in Africa, Gandhi cleared the prison on his own, and prison officials sent people to promote Gandhi as a political prisoner, but he refused. Once upon a time at home, someone came to stay with Gandhi, washing the baskets of those who came to stay with him by himself. From time immemorial, Gandhi always washed his own clothes and finally practiced cutting his own hair. Once, while walking at the train station, a British man, mistaken for a freight forwarder, just called for her to pick up her suitcase. Another important reason for Mahatma Gandhi's power is not to lie. Gandhi claims that even as a child he never lied. Strangely enough, due to Mahatma Gandhi's character as a comedian, Gandhi himself said that if he did not depend on his comics, Gandhi could have killed himself a long time ago. But even though Gandhi was like that, he never lied. When Mahatma Gandhi never lied, others did not dare to lie to Mahatma Gandhi. When Gandhi's people make a mistake in a story that will cause embarrassment, Gandhi calls himself and says, "Tomorrow must tell the whole truth." The man immediately tells the whole truth.